Women's Rugby World Cup, week number 2, folks. The vast majority of the quarterfinalists have been decided after these 2 rounds, including the Canadians, the Black Ferns, the English, French, and so on. And for the first time, the Springbok women have made a Rugby World Cup quarterfinal in the women's game. So yeah, we'll go through the round that was, the upcoming fixtures, some of the standout performers. You guys can let us know your thoughts on how you think round 2 stacked up. Canada against Wales, 42-zip. Wales have been a wee bit disappointing this Women's World Cup. They didn't score any points. They had the better of the kind of early phases of the game, but couldn't convert any points against the Canadians, whereas the Canadians, couple of tries to McKinley Hunt, the big loose head prop. Asia Rochester on the right wing, bagged was it 2 tries for her? She had a heap of run meters, clean breaks. Well, she had 154 meters, including 1 try from a restart. Only 2 tries in the second half meant that it was a little bit, tighter after being, 28-0 and bonus points secured by halftime for Canada. Sophie De Goede was 100% from the tee, which is certainly something that a lot of the other teams will be looking at with a bit of envy because there were a few kicks going awry. But I mean, ultimately, stats-wise, 10 clean breaks to 2. The Canadians were pretty clinical, although that being said, the turnover count was 21 for the Canadians, so they coughed up a little bit too much ball against the tougher team. They will certainly need to be in better form than that, but 42-0. You can't help but be relatively pleased if you are a Canadian fan. Scotland against Fiji, 29 points to 15. Scotland secure their spot in the quarterfinals. Fran McGee, again, she bags a couple. She is an absolute try-scoring machine. Many of these teams seem to have bloody good left wingers. To be fair, one of the tries came from a pretty awful Fiji kick, which the Scots were able to punish. Rona Lloyd bagged a couple out on the right wing as well, so a good day for the Scottish wingers. The loose head prop, Senivutu for Fiji, managed to get a try, which was, 20-plus meters for her to go in, which was a nice finish, all from turnover ball as well. So 17-5 at halftime. Fiji actually had the possession and territory in this game, but the tackle percentage for them was 76%, not the worst of the week, but that's far too many tackles missed. The clean breaks was like 9 apiece. Emma Orr, the 13 for Scotland, had 6 defenders beaten, scored a great try of her own. But, the cards and whatnot certainly didn't help things. England ended up demolishing Samoa in their game, 92 points to 3. Also quarterfinals bound. England, different try scorers this week. They mixed up the team a wee bit and still looked pretty bloody good. Meg Jones got a couple. Jess Breach got a hat-trick. There were 9 other try scorers for this very, very dominant English side. Samoa did get 3 points, which they celebrated because it was their first ever points at a Rugby World Cup. So good on them for getting on the board at 47-0 down. But at least it's 92-3, not 92-0. I mean, the stats, 19-2 is the clean breaks. 24 defenders beaten for the English girls. Offloads, though, is an interesting one. They still kept it a bit conservative at England. The Samoans actually out-offloaded them 7-4. So, yeah, Claudia Maloney-McDonald, though, 147 meters, 7 clean breaks, 1 try. Marley Packer, 16 out of 18 tackles and a try. It's talent all over that English side. They are looking very interesting. But they got a tougher game coming up against Australia. We'll see how they go. Speaking of Australia, they drew with the US. So these two teams are still both alive. But this game, I feel like both teams will be a bit disappointed they couldn't get it done because they seriously both had chances to win it. The Aussies scored first. Desiree Miller, she is a proper weapon out wide as well. But the USA had a heap of pressure on. It was 14-5 at halftime to the Aussies, which was, you feel like, still a pretty tight game. Second half became a bit of a try bonanza. The US went first. Yelena Ma was cracking at the breakdown. She won a bunch of turnovers. Aussie had to retake the lead after being behind. The USA missed a couple of kicks. One was like a timed out kick. One was double poster and not over the sticks, which in the context of 31-31 is pretty brutal. The USA went from being down by 9 to leading by 5 with 10 minutes to play, but the Aussies bounced back to get that final score. So yeah, both those sides still alive. Will depend on the results of the final round's fixtures to decide who goes through. The Americans had the possession, 63%, but the Aussies had the clean breaks, 6-3. And the Americans' turnovers conceded was 16, which compared to the Aussies' 7 is a wee bit too high. The Aussie lock Michaela Leonard had 24 out of 25 tackles, which is a bit of a shift. Alona Ma, 3 turnovers, 1 from her. So, yeah, despite the fact that it's 31 apiece, there were some big defensive shifts as well. The Irish played the Spanish in what was supposed to be a bit of a ding-dong battle. Both sides finished with bonus points in that one, which is something, 43 points to 27. Bit of a tit-for-tat start. The Irish scored a couple. The Spanish scored a couple, 12 points apiece. The back lines were getting into it. There were maul tries. This one seemed to be properly all over the place. The Irish number 8, Grace Moore, she bagged a couple as well, which was pretty pleasing from them. But the Spanish had the final say with a consolation try. Interestingly, Ireland only had 46% of the possession in that game, which is pretty low, but they love chucking the ball around. They dominated the pass count, whereas the Spanish were playing a bit more directly, and they tackled at 90% at the Irish, which is always a pretty stat when you get those defensive numbers up into the 90s. Claire Bowles had 23 out of 23 tackles, the Irish flanker, so well done on a big defensive shift. The Black Ferns, 62-19 over Japan. Interestingly, Japan scored first to take the lead, but Portia Woodman-Wycliffe, 50 tries for her now at international level in the 15s game is a massive, massive record for her. She gets the reply. Georgia Miller still looks an absolute beast. She bags another 2. I think I preferred her second one to her first, but they were both very good tries. Half times 38-5. To the Black Ferns. Japan scored again the start of the second half. They mauled a lot, Japan, which is maybe good practice in terms of the Black Ferns getting some kind of forward action going, but they did concede advantages and whatnot from that. So certainly still areas to work on, but yeah, Laura Bayfield getting a couple of yellow cards didn't help the Black Ferns cause. She ends up getting a red. Miller's one from the turnover ball, though, in the second half was an absolute peach. Had a real good time watching that one. And then Braxton Sorensen McGee bags a hat trick as well. So, yeah, some good performances from the Black Ferns. They can really shift the ball. Tackle percent was 95% as well, which is absolutely lovely. The Japanese were down at 79, which is just, again, too many. The Black Ferns lineout, though, was a little bit low, penalty count a little bit high, turnover count a little bit high, so certainly still more to work on from a New Zealand perspective. South Africa and Italy is maybe the game of the week if you want to ignore the draw or pick one which is a winner. You know, a more satisfying finish than a draw, 29-24. What a cracking game that was. South Africa make the quarterfinals with this win. Big scrum. And that number 8, Hilaire, I love watching that girl just rampage when she gets the ball in hand. Early try. Nadine Roos managed to get one great back play from the South Africans. So 12 points to 0 lead, but the Italians came back, made it 12-all. South Africans go back in front, 17-12. Italians hit back to even things up 17 apiece. You know, it gets to 24 apiece. It's just proper, absolute back and forth tip for this one. I mean, maybe the game of the week, I feel like, this one. South Africa dominate the possession and the territory. The Italians have got the clean break, so it's one of those ones where both sides had things going for them. But, yeah, the 5-4 with the late one for the South Africans, that's the difference, man. It's hard to deny a team being the better team when the difference is literally just the try count. Malinga got another one, 110 run meters from her. She is absolute lightning as well. To be fair, the Italian forwards had a whole bunch of tackles, so the tackle count was something of an impressive defensive shift. And then France, Brazil. Brazil scored a nice one, but that's their 5 points, and France ran in 84 to make it into the quarterfinals. Bouillard had a couple. She got a try assist as well. Abe had a couple. They both had 140-plus meters, the outside backs for France. They totaled 1,004 meters all up, did the French women, against 252. The tackle percentage for the Brazilians is 66, which is just... That's how you concede 80-odd points. I mean, I didn't watch this game in full. I didn't watch highlights of it, but it says the line-out count for France was 1 from 6. Is that right? That's pretty awful if that's true. Someone let me know if you watched the game. Upcoming fixtures, Canada against Scotland, I think basically decides who plays England. So still, you know, lots to play for that one. Canadians will be favourites. USA will take on Samoa. Points difference and whatnot could be important in terms of deciding who goes through between the Aussies and the US. And then the Aussies also have to play England. If they get a bonus point, it'd be enough, but getting a bonus point against England, they've only conceded what? Is it 10 points thus far in 2 games? Will be a difficult prospect. Wales taking on Fiji for bottom spot in their pool. Japan versus Spain will also decide bottom spot in their pool. Italy, Brazil likewise. And then there's New Zealand against Ireland and France against South Africa for top spots in their groups. But yeah, it's the second round action. I feel like the scorelines were a bit closer. A few couple of, a draw there. There's some proper tit-for-tat games, some arm wrestles. It's been good stuff. But you guys let us know your thoughts on round 2 of the Women's World Cup. We await round 3. Do you see anyone challenging England just yet? Or is it still too early to say? Subscribe to the channel. Be finishing out coverage of the Women's World Cup as we head into the knockout stages. But yes, you guys take care. Talk to you guys again soon. See you later.